Hello everybody, welcome back to another EU4 achievement hunting video where this time we are going to be forming the Sultanate of Rum as Karaman. And considering how many people make Byzantium to Roman Empire runs, you would think starting as a slightly bigger nation on Anatolia already would be a little bit easier, right? And no, it's not. It took me legit like maybe 20 hours and just as many attempts to try to get a run going in the first place before we finally got to this one that you're going to see in the video that I streamed live on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/LeoDsumotv. I know the name is a bit different over here on YouTube. There's a story behind it. Long story short, I'm stupid. But this video is also going to be a little bit different too because, there's a lot of content. And it is a very short video relative to what I usually make, and that's because I had to cut a lot out because I was streaming on Twitch, so I was playing some of my music, and I realized, oh, some of this music is probably stuff that YouTube will not like. So what I'm going to be doing is voicing over everything that I did, all of the little bits and pieces that I cut out, all of the major wars. Probably going to be glossing over a bunch of the smaller wars that we did, but I hope you enjoy this differently formatted video, and if you don't, well, don't worry about it because we still have a lot of Switzerland videos ahead of us. There's going to be 6 parts of that. Talk about from one extreme to another. We make 80 years into 30 minutes here, and then Switzerland is 80 years into almost the full 8 hours. So hope you enjoy this video, hope you enjoy my voiceover of it, and let's just dive right into it, trying to form the nation of Rum. Alright, so to begin, as the Karaman, we start with 5 provinces in Anatolia, and the first thing I like to do is buy 3 of the regular troops, disinherit the heir because it's terrible, and, fun fact, there is another achievement, Die Please Die, where you could, if you have a 70-year-old 000 or 001 in this case, you can get that achievement as well. You'd have to keep saves coming for it though. As we give out the privileges here, we will not be giving out the cheaper advisors because we will never be able to afford advisors because we're going to be spending all that money on army and navy and whatever else. So don't even, you don't need to worry about the lower stab and whatever else that affects. As well, burger loans. We rival up Dulkadir. We like to rival Ramazan if we can because that makes our spying faster. And one of the things to look out for is when you summon the diet, pray that the nobility has the Restore Prestige because that gives you 1 free stability once you get back up to 0 prestige, which you get back pretty fast after the quick wars against Dulkadir and Ramazan. Here, I'm explaining that in a previous run, I had Bulgaria, I had Byzantium, and I just needed to integrate them in order to finish the run, and it was going really well, but then Poland decided to support their independence, and I could never integrate them anymore, and the run was failed from there, and that's because I was never going to be powerful enough to go to war against Poland. So here we buy a few more galleys because we are in the Mediterranean. You are going to need boats. In order to save some money, I delete the cogs because you don't need transports. All you need is galleys, straight galleys in the Mediterranean. And from here, this is when we're going to start spying on some of our neighbors. So the cool thing about our tier 0 government is that you can actually get spy network claims at 10 instead of 20. The other thing I neglected to mention, but I will just now, is the getting the day 2. You have to wait for at least 1 or 2 days to tick to get the royal marriage with the Mamluks. And if you don't get that, you will never be able to get it because they will always have too many diplo relations. So you want to get the royal marriage with the Mamluks ASAP, and from there, that opens it up so that you can get the alliance with them because they already have that diplo relation with you. and now it's just waiting for us to basically get into this war against Dulkadir. Sometimes they ally Hiss and Kaifa, sometimes they don't. In this playthrough, they do, and what I like to do sometimes too is vassalize Hiss and Kaifa, because you can grow them after taking a few chunks out of Akkayunlu and Karakayunlu as well, and then integrate them later, but I didn't want to waste the time this time around. And you're going to see why a little bit later on, and that's because we're going to declare an early war against the Ottomans. Sometimes you want to wait, sometimes you can't wait, because sometimes the Ottomans will ally the Ramazan, and you're going to see that in a little bit. Here we declare our first war against Dulkadir and Hiss and Kaifa and Kandar, but we're not going to have mill access through anyone else, so we have no worries about getting ganked from anyone else's armies. So the Ottomans will never give you mill access, and I mean, you have to ask for Akkayunlu mill access, but I mean, I'll do that a little bit later. Here you can see the Ottomans are already invading Kandar. Now we're in Hiss and Kaifa, we get the white flag. Just finish it up. We don't need Hiss and Kaifa. It just wastes like 2-3 years of your life, a lot of manpower, a lot of resources. And just piece them out and then wait for, coring all of that up. We just doubled in size basically. And the thing now we have to wait for is an opportunity against the Ottomans. Because like I said, in this run, they allied Ramazan, and that is pretty difficult to deal with. Here you can see I'm looking at it. Oh, look at that. They're allied to the Ottomans. Who can I rival? I could rival Ramazan. That way we get a little bit more power projection once we eventually defeat them in that war in the future. Or the Akkayunlu, because I want to start getting claims on them too. You do need one province from them, and that one province you have to go through another one, so you have to get 2 provinces from Akkayunlu if you want to be able to, form the nation of Rum. Here I was thinking about the opportunity of going to war while they have rebels that they can't even fight themselves. And here also we get an alliance with Ajam. They are of some use. Sometimes they get eaten by the Timurids really early. Sometimes they don't. It's very luck based and very RNG heavy, because that's just how the Timurids and everything near the Timurids are. Either the Timurids collapse in 1446, or they're a powerhouse that completely eats Ajam in the same amount of time, So this time around, we got the alliance with Ajam, and they do prove themselves helpful in the near future. There we go. I don't know what that god is great. Here, I don't remember why I cut this out, but I did forget to mention earlier, and I forgot to do it in the playthrough, to focus mill so you can get mill ideas faster. Yes, go hunt down their army. You want to get your mill techs faster, and you'll see why much later in the game. Here we're taking a look at Mamluks crushing the Akkayunlu army. They're left without an army, but this is still not a war I can declare really, because Shirvan, another one of my allies, and Ajam won't come in. I'm still too afraid of the Karakayunlu, which 99% of the time will declare or guarantee independence of Akkayunlu. It's very annoying, but it's just something we have to deal with. Here we zoom out, and it's just me fishing for alliances. We get the alliance with Trebizond, which is going to be pretty important later because they do help us in the war against the Ottomans. You could kind of see they were at war with Byzantium already. And here I'm still debating, do I want to go into that war against Akkayunlu now before it's too late? Ottomans just declared war on Venice in this clip, and that means the time to strike is nigh. We have all of our allies ready to come in on the war, even Ajam, and we don't want to co-belligerate the Akkayunlu, but we will co-belligerate Ramazan because we want to take that, and this is the time to go. Because the Ottoman armies are stuck in Venetian lands. We skip over the bulk of the war because nothing really happened. It was just the Mamluks taking care of business, as you can kind of see right there. And what I'm going to do here is trade favors for trust, because I'm not going to give them the land that I promised them. I give them one province, and then I snake all the way up into Constantinople, and they're still not happy. But we take the money, we take a lot of good land, we take Constantinople from the Ottomans, and, you know, from here, that's cool. Here's a cursed Albania, by the way. They ate a little bit of Serbia. They're gonna get bigger, trust me. Here, we dev for the Renaissance, or rather, we get the Renaissance. We have to take out a few loans so we can embrace the Renaissance. And the year is, I can't read that, 1456, 66? My little window, preview window is a little too small. Here, I decide to finally go into the war against Akkayunlu, because Karakayunlu is in war with the Mamluks, and I was dragged into that war. I said, yeah, I would join just to, you know, keep the trust, and it's a very easy war. We full annex Akkayunlu, and that is so good for us. This is one of the cleanest starts we've ever had, and I wish I could show you more about what's going on with our ducats and everything in the top left, but I was stupid and put my music up there. Here, my heir dies, and we get a good backup heir anyway, so we're happy about that. We also ally the Timurids, but I'm never really able to do anything with that alliance. I just got them because I would hope that we could go into a war with them against the Ottomans, and here I'm noting, oh wow, I'm 2 mil techs ahead of the Ottomans. That's why I have to focus mill. You have to focus those mil techs so you can end, well, getting Constantinople early also really helped out, but we are way ahead of the Ottomans in terms of our military tech, and that's why I think, even though they're allied to Bohemia and Tunis, we have to declare the war now, and we're going to rush them, try to take them out. Here's a little clip of a battle where we absolutely wipe them out, because we are Miltech 7, and we spent all of our money on cannons. We have legit 10 cannons in the line, and I was losing like 20 ducats a month, so I thought we have to go to war now or never. And here you can kind of see what I'm doing with my government reforms. Tier 2 was a strengthen noble privileges for more manpower. Tier 3, I never really know what to get, but this is a good opportunity to say again, we were 2 mil techs ahead of the Ottomans. I went into a lot of debt, got a lot of cannons, and I needed to do that in order to get the leg up on the Ottomans early on. It does come back to bite me later. Our first idea group, we go for quality ideas, and then after this, I really don't know what to go for, so I go for trade to try to make more money, and then humanist, so I don't have to deal with spending money on missionaries. But, I mean, either way, this war against the Ottomans is going very, very well for us, and it's mostly because we were 10 cannons to 2, and we wiped out half their army at a defensive siege in Constantinople. So what we're going to do here is, you know, get more money so we can pay off more loans. We kind of wrap around them on Anatolia. We make them a little bit weaker, and this is going to be one of many more wars we go to. We trade more favors for trust with the Mamluks because we don't want them to ever be mad at us, and that's the best thing to do. Over here, I'm just, you know, an audit of what's going on in the rest of the Mediterranean. Naples is huge. Milan is pretty big. They ate up Genoa. And here we actually get a comet, but we're a scholar, so it's a good comet. Here, I decide to go to war against the Karakayunlu, co-belligerate Georgia. It's a quick war. I just wanted to get a few provinces from both of them, but it actually was a very bad war for us. I lost a lot of money, a lot of troops, was not making any progress, so I just white peace. That was one of the big mistakes. I overestimated my own army strength, and here, again, like another 10, 15 years later, we go to war against the Ottomans again, and the strategy here is to rush down Tunisia. And in this war, we go bankrupt. During this war, we are bankrupted because we were already taking so many loans from the previous wars. That failed war against the Akkayunlu came back to bite us. We sieged down Tunisia, though, and because we were already in the war, I was confident that we were going to be fine, because as soon as we peace out Tunisia, which we do, we just turn back towards the Ottomans, and again, just let the Mamluks do everything. We defend our own land and we're good to go. We continue to encircle them around Anatolia. We continue to get money, which I realize is probably a bad idea. We should only be going for war reps in that case. And, I mean, this is a pretty solid run so far, except for the fact that we were bankrupt and now we have to spend a lot of points instead of, you know, encoring stuff up now to stab up. Here we get our tier 4 government reform. I go for 1 additional diplomat because we kind of need it. And from here, I will encourage development so we can spawn colonialism in Biga. And again, it looks like this run is going really well, but it was a struggle. We were constantly between wars fighting all of our own rebels. We have to save as much money everywhere we possibly can. It was really, really rough. And it's unfortunate that I can't really show you that because of me playing that stupid music, but you know, this is, I hope I'm giving you a good sense of how this game went on. The Mamluks go back to war with Karakayunlu, and who am I to say no? Because I also want stuff from the Karakayunlu. Funnily enough, Georgia did not help them in the war defensively, so we basically occupy half of Karakayunlu, and the Mamluks give us some of the land. So they actually give us enough land so that we can release Bitless and use them as a vassal to eat a few more cores back from Karakayunlu. Plus the Reconquest CB is always a good thing. And you can see here I'm looking for countries to release. Eventually I will get to Bitless and realize, yes, I can release Bitless. I can have a Reconquest on Georgia as well. And you know, throughout this entire time, I'm constantly trying to fish for alliances with all of the other countries. At one point, I get an alliance with Hungary and Venice. At another point, you know, those alliances get broken. But you will see when we declare more wars later that I do have some pretty decent allies for myself. And honestly, if I only had to keep expanding eastward, this would have been fine. You know, the Mamluks trusted ally to the south. Nobody except maybe Russia across the Caucasus to the north. That would have been comfortable, but that's not the point of this run. The point of this run was to, you know, form the nation of Rum, and to do that we have to completely eliminate the Ottomans. We embrace colonialism for a little bit cheaper, and with that, we tech up. We are doing really well on the technologies. And again, a little bit of an audit of what's going on in the Mediterranean. You can see the 2 Sicilies formed. They're looking pretty powerful. Albania is massive and scary and just, wow. This was a very cursed game, not just because of what we were doing to the Ottomans, but because of what else was going on in the rest of the world. Like, look at the 2 Sicilies here. You're going to see on the left side of the screen, Spain literally just formed. Milan is still big. Tuscany exists. I think, yeah, France took a bite out of England, funnily enough. Spain got the Burgundian inheritance, but lost the mountainous Burgundian lands. So, a lot of cursed stuff going on in Europe, and, you know, when the balance of the Ottomans is thrown off, that means other people can run wild, apparently. Here, I was trying to fish for an alliance with the Tunisians so I can have them break their alliance with the Ottomans, but I never got that alliance. It was super frustrating. And here, I note that the Ottomans ally the Commonwealth, which that delayed our next war for a long time because I had to find a way around that. So here, I kind of make a mistake. I should have co-belligerated Theodoro, because then I would have been able to call in the Ottomans, have them break their alliance with the Commonwealth manually, and then from there do that. But I just take out Trebizond and then 1 province minor, Theodoro. We actually vassalize them instead of annexing them, because we're going to feed back some of the Ottoman lands over in Crimea to them, which it's just to eliminate the Ottomans, because to form the nation of Rum, the Ottomans cannot exist and Byzantium cannot exist either, which is weird because Rum and Byzantium existed at the same time, but that's neither here nor there. But from here, you know, things are still going smoothly. The conquests to the east, I decided to go back to war against Karakayunlu because they have no friends. I don't even need to call in my allies for it. And you can see I am allied to Venice and Hungary there as well. I could have used the Timurids in this war for the only time I ever would have used the Timurids, but I decided against it because I didn't want to have to give them land. And it was a very easy war. You can see even the Timurids declared war on them afterwards anyway. And I wanted to take some provinces and war reps so I can release Iraq as well, which I wanted to keep going back to war with the Karakayunlu, but they eventually completely collapsed. Tier 5 Gov Reform, I go for the artillery one. I just straight up think it's the best. And now you can kind of see the Ottomans are still not cracking. They still have the alliance with Tunisia. They still have the alliance with the Commonwealth. I hope you can't hear the leaf blower in the background as I'm recording this, because of course they would do that at this exact time. But this is actually where I notice it. Or is it in the next one? But yeah, Albania is huge. That's cursed. They own all of Serbia. A little bit of where Bosnia and Herzegovina were, because Hungary got the rest of it. Venice is still in Dalmatia. And this, yes, this is where I notice it. The Commonwealth is actually at war with the Ottomans. And so this is my time to go. I'm not prepared for this war in the slightest, but I see that they lost their biggest ally, and now the time is nigh, basically. It was very right off the cuff, and cool. Thank you, landscaping. Thank you, landscaping. I could cut this out, but I'm going to leave it in for comedic effect. We peace out Bohemia pretty quickly because they were also at war with another nation, and Albania just kind of, ran in there like, yes, Albania strong. Skanderberg 100 years. And we had them end their alliance with the Ottomans. Here, again, I'm trying to figure out how I want to cut up the Ottomans. And also here, I wanted the Tunisians out of the war as soon as possible, so I actually give them some money and I cut my alliance with the Mamluks in a peace deal with the Tunisians just so I can keep going back to war with the Ottomans. Because the Tunisians staying in the war meant the war score was going to stay high, and they were going to keep providing like 20, 30,000 troop stacks. It was really annoying. I just wanted Tunis out. And, our trust with the Mamluks was already super high anyway, so we're just going to be able to re-ally them. You could see over here, I was debating on whether or not to release Crimea from the Ottomans, but I thought, wait, no, it would be better if those provinces stay Ottoman, because then Russia will declare war on the Ottomans, destroy their armies again, and even if Russia takes nothing else from the Ottomans, that would be great. Here, I take one province down in, Greece, and one province to, release Bulgaria and release Byzantium from, because I wanted to feed back their cores. But pretty soon you're going to see that that is not exactly how the plan goes. I'm feeding those provinces up in Crimea back to Theodoro, and I'm, again, debating where do I want to take land, because Venice occupied a lot of land that I want to take for myself. And of course, I'm keeping these little enclaves of Ottoman control within my own borders, so I can just keep getting free war score for the conquests on those borders. But again, eventually you're going to see how that's a little useless. I am also going to give some land to Hungary and Albania, my allies, just so I can keep them happy, so they can come back into the next war against the Ottomans. And again, I'm taking note of, where Venice wants land, which is really annoying because I want that land. I'm thinking about taking that province for myself, but that would go to Byzantium, so I'm just like, screw it. Not really knowing what to do here. But in the end, it weakens the Ottomans, and that's the most important thing. Because, again, in order to form Byzantium, or in order to form Rum, you need to eliminate the Ottomans completely. And, a little bit of money, a little less land. We take the islands. I don't remember if I needed the islands or not, but I know I needed basically all of Anatolia, Constantinople. And then, yes, I did make Bohemia break their alliance with them. And the Commonwealth was no longer allied to them, too. I have Iraq as a vassal. We're going back to war against the Karakayunlu. It's another quick and dirty war. We're also going to go to war with Georgia and Samshkir, whatever the name of that country is in green right there. We're going to feed it mostly back to Theodoro because, I mean, they're our vassal. We're going to eat them up later anyway. And it doesn't really matter who gets the land between the both of us. But it's easier for me to give it to Theodoro. That way they don't... we don't have to spend the admin points on coring it up. You might be wondering what our other idea groups are, and honestly, I had no idea what to go, so I went with some pretty crappy ones. You can see I'm just pushing out my borders against Karakayunlu. I'm not going for 100% war score, because I did not want to be in this war for too long. I'm just, you know, pushing my border out a little bit further east, only a couple provinces, mainly getting some money, because I wanted to get more money to pay off a lot of my loans. We were basically on like one of those horde, constantly have to be at war economies, which was really annoying. And I mean, we go bankrupt a second time. Spoiler alert. It is at the very end when it doesn't really matter. But I mean, even with Constantinople and even with all this land, we were still very, very poor. And you can see now my allies are going to war against the Ottomans. The two Sicilies took a huge chunk out of the Western Balkans and Greece, and you can even see there, I think it was there, that we could join a coalition against the two Sicilies, which you're going to see why in a little bit too. There it is, actually, the coalition against two Sicilies, and it is because, you know, they took this huge bite out of the Ottomans, and we don't see it on the screen right now, but they also took a huge bite out of Tunisia. And so, two Sicilies have a lot of aggressive expansion with a lot of countries. Even the Mamluks hate them. Like, you can kind of see it in the bottom left right there. Here, the Ottomans are running out of room. They have, you know, one island in that little Gulf Bay, whatever you want to call it. Two provinces up where Bulgaria has cores. A couple more provinces in the Balkans. And I could have called in Albania here, but I didn't, and I get punished for that later. You're going to see why. But here, in some of those other wars, these smaller countries pop out because of war demands, I guess, from Venice or Hungary, because obviously the other guys couldn't occupy them themselves. So I already had claims, so just go straight back to war. It's very tiny countries. We get the wars done pretty quickly, pretty evenly. And during this time, I am still at war with the Ottomans because I want Albania to piece them out so I can fully annex the Ottomans. But Albania controls this one little island in Greece that I can't control. So I just eventually say, you know what, screw it. Let's just take those two Bulgarian cores, call it a day. Albania will take that last chunk out of the Ottomans, and in a second, boom, one little island left. One little island left for the Ottomans, and I need the Ottomans to be gone to form Rum. Same with Byzantium, but I was going to use them as a vassal, but this was very late into the stream, and at this point, like, look at how big the two Sicilies is. They're trying to form the Roman Empire, like, geez. But we declare the coalition war against the two Sicilies, and the idea was I wanted to get back more cores for Byzantium so I could eat them back up and absorb them myself, but afterwards I decide that's a pretty terrible idea. Here, I truce break the Ottomans because at this point I'm just throwing up my hands and saying, fuck it, I don't want to play this anymore, I don't want to be this country anymore, I don't want to be here anymore. I truce break the Ottomans so I can clean them up. I declare bankruptcy for the second time because I'm already at, you know, -3 stability. I may as well. Who cares? Let me just clean up the Ottomans. And here we do. The Ottomans are now gone. And now we need to annex. We need to annex Byzantium. And that's why I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to get a lot of their cores back from the two Sicilies because that would be way too long to absorb them, and who knows, maybe I'll go bankrupt for a third time, or maybe one of these disasters are going to strike. So in this war, the two Sicilies. I finally finish it up. I let everyone else do all the work. Like if I were to collect full money, I would only get like 30 of it because I have like 0 war participation, which is kind of funny. But the war against the two Sicilies is over. I'm gonna have them give me war reps, transfer trade power if I can, and then release a lot of smaller Italian nations. Saluzzo, Sardinia, Savoy, release a bit of Serbia, Tripoli, and honestly, I'm just doing this to weaken them. I don't really give a shit how strong they are. And that's mainly because I'm not going to play this anymore. I don't want to play this any more than I have to. The original plan was to form the nation of Rum and then get the achievement for the true, I think it's called the true ruler of Rum or something like that, where you control Moscow and Rome and Constantinople as Rum. And after this, I was just like, hell no. I am not playing. If anything, I will start as the Ottomans instead and do that. I will gladly do that, but there's no way in hell I am doing that as the Karaman right now. So here we are getting to the end screen where I finally do absorb Byzantium. You can see I'm still bankrupt, so I have 0 army morale. The rebels are wiping me out. I finally absorb Byzantium. We form the nation of Rum. Here comes the pop-up in the bottom right-hand corner right beneath my cute little feet right there. And that's it. We are the Sultanate of Rum. We got the achievements, a hero's welcome. This was terrible. This was awful. I did it live on stream, twitch.tv/LeoDickinsonTV, and I never want to do this again. It doesn't help that I didn't have all of the DLCs, so I couldn't do it as optimally as humanly possible. But this, I never ever want to do this again. If there's another country I can form the nation of Rum with, I'll gladly do it, as long as it's easier than the Karaman. But I will never, ever, ever do the Karaman ever again. I was poor the whole time, constantly on the brink of bankruptcy, surrounded on all sides by incredibly powerful enemies. I mean, it's a good thing we kept the Mamluks by our side the entire time. And at the very end, it was only at the very end that things got annoyingly complicated with, that coalition war. But in the end, we did it. Thank you, everybody, for watching this video. Thank you, everybody, for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I enjoyed making it, and maybe not as much as I enjoyed playing it, because let me tell you what, I did not enjoy playing this run at all. Incredibly difficult. We went bankrupt twice. Like, come on. I mean, the second time I did it on purpose, but still, just like, come on. This was really hard, and I would not try it again. If anything, I don't care. I'll play as the Mamluks or someone bigger like the Timurids and then try to screw up the Ottomans. I don't care. I never want to play as the Karaman ever again. I never want to play anywhere near the Ottomans ever again. And by the way, I'm going for Basileus and Roman Empire as Byzantium on my Twitch streams over on twitch.tv/LeoDickinsonTV. So if you want to catch more EU4 over there and other variety content like Skyrim, Baldur's Gate, Monster Hunter World, be sure to check out my streams over on that channel. You can find the link in the description down below. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. More Switzer Lake in the next video.